Hello dear students, welcome to my channel. So today I am going to discuss about very important topic, that is immunity. Okay, so this is very important topic for examination point of view, for especially for competitive examination. Okay, so let us discuss about the immunity. First we will discuss about the definition. So immunity, what does immunity, what does the immunity mean? Immunity is the ability of host cell to fight against microbial agent or antigen. So all of our body, okay, our body which has a host cell which has the ability to fight against the microorganisms or antigen. See, our body has the ability to protect our body cells. Okay, so how it happens here? Whenever microorganisms try to enter into our body, okay, whenever microorganisms try to enter into our body, so our body will start protecting. It act against it and protects our body from a harming by the microorganisms. So this ability is known as the immunity. So what is immunity? Immunity is it is the ability of host cell to fight against the microbial agents or a antigen. Okay, so we can classify immunity into, so immunity is classified into innate immunity. It is classified into innate immunity, and acquired immunity. So this is a broad classification. In again acquired immunity, we can classify it into active immunity and passive immunity. In again active and passive, it is classified into natural and artificial. In passive also natural and artificial. So let us discuss about all these types of different classification of immunity. So first we will start with the innate immunity. So innate immunity is nothing but it is an immunity in which individual possesses. It is an immunity in which individual possesses by birth. Means this type of immunity which comes by birth only. Okay, so that is known as innate immunity. Whatever the immunity which comes from by birth is known as a innate immunity. So this is mainly determined by the heredity factor. Okay, and what are the types in this innate immunity? In innate immunity, what types of immunity we will get here? First of all, conjunctiva. So in this conjunctiva, there is a the tear will come from this eye. Okay, so this tear, it flushes out many microorganisms. Okay, it flushes out many microorganisms and thereby protect the eye from getting infection. Okay, and this tears also have an enzyme called lysosome. Okay, lysosome. So this lysosome, it act as a bactericidal. Okay, it has a bactericidal effect. Okay, so first one is the conjunctiva. In the conjunctiva there is a tear. Okay, so there is a production of tear in the eye. So this tear, what they do here, they will constantly flushes out the microorganisms, and tears also contains an enzyme called lysosome. So this lysosome has a bactericidal effect and thereby prevent the infection of eye. And next one is skin. So all of we know that the skin secretes the sweat. Okay, so this sweat contains sodium. This sweat contains sodium, which has a natural immunity where it destroys the microorganisms present over the skin. Okay, and apart from that, we can also see there is the GI tract. So in this GI tract, there is a continuous production of saliva. So this saliva also has a bactericidal effect. Okay, it will also kill the bacteria present in the food. Okay, and gastric pH. Okay, gastric juice pH. So gastric juice pH is very acidic, and thereby it destroys the microorganisms comes along with the water or food. Okay, and next one is a urinary tract. So this urinary tract, as you know that there is a continuous production of urine by the kidney. Okay, so kidney produces a urine. So this urine flushes out. Urine flushes out many microorganisms. Okay, and thereby prevent the reproductive tract infection, or you can say RTI. Okay, and the acidic pH of vaginal secretion also prevents reproductive tract infection. Okay, reproductive tract infection. Next we'll see there is a respiratory tract. Okay, in this respiratory tract, in the respiratory tract there is a cilia which is present. Okay, this cilia will trap the microorganisms. What they will do here? Cilia trap the microorganisms and thereby prevent the entry of microorganisms into the respiratory system. Okay, and apart from that, there is a presence of mucus in the respiratory system. Okay, so this mucus will trap the microorganisms. Okay, so mucus will trap the microorganisms and thereby prevent the entry of microorganisms into the respiratory system. Okay, so these are all the immunity that comes under the innate immunity. And let us discuss about acquired immunity. Acquired immunity. So what does the acquired immunity? Acquired immunity means it is a resistance that is developed. Okay, that resistance that is developed during the time of life. Or you can say it is developed over a period of life. Over a period of life. It is a immunity. Okay, it is a resistance that is developed over a period of life. So that is acquired immunity. Means acquired immunity, it does not come by birth. So this immunity, the individual will acquire it as he grow. Okay, as he develop. So that is known as acquired immunity. So in this acquired immunity, again we have two types, that is a active and passive. Active and passive. So active immunity means here the person will develop a immunity, or he produces the antibody or immunoglobulins. Okay, he produces antibody or immunoglobulins. Okay, immunoglobulins in his body once the microorganisms enters into the body. Okay, so that is why this active immunity, it is classified into natural and, so here it is classified into natural and artificial. So what is this natural acquired immunity? Natural active immunity means, here natural active immunity means once the person exposed to the microorganisms, okay, if there is a clinical exposure to the microorganisms, or if person directly comes in contact with the microorganisms, his body starts preparing the antibodies or immunoglobulins, and that immunoglobulins, once they produced sufficiently, will destroy the microorganisms which are enter into the person's body. Okay, so that is known as natural active immunity. Okay, for example, I will tell you example for this natural immunity, natural active. Okay, natural active immunity. So here, if the person exposed to the TB microorganisms, or once the person is exposed to any other organisms like TB or diphtheria, okay, so diphtheria. So what happens here, once this tuberculosis or diphtheria bacteria enters into his body starts preparing the immunoglobulins or antibody or immunoglobulins. So this immunoglobulins the body starts producing immunoglobulins or antibody, and sufficiently the immunoglobulins or antibodies are produced, and these immunoglobulins or antibody help in destroying the tuberculosis bacteria or diphtheria bacteria, and this type of immunity is known as a natural active immunity. Okay, and what does this artificial active immunity in this artificial active immunity, here what happens, intentionally the vaccines are given. Okay, so what happens here, the vaccines means vaccine is a one which contains and microorganisms which are killed or affected. Okay, see here in this vaccines are administered to the person. Okay, so this vaccine again, it contains what, it contains microorganisms, okay, which may be killed or live microorganisms. Okay, so these vaccines once administered to the person, what happens here, his body responds to that microorganisms and starts producing the immunoglobulins. Okay, his body starts preparing the immunoglobulins, or we can call it as antibody. And then what happens here, over a period of time, his body will sufficiently produces those immunoglobulins or antibody. Okay, so this type of immunization, okay, this is known as it is artificial active immunity. So in this artificial active immunity, what is the example for artificial active immunity? Live or killed vaccination. Okay, live or killed vaccination is a example for artificial active immunity. So once live or killed vaccines are administered to the persons, okay, the disease causing factor is removed from the microorganisms, but the vaccine contains a microorganism, but the disease causing factor is removed, okay, attenuated. So once that vaccine is administered, his body responds to that vaccine and starts producing the immunoglobulins or antibody, and such over a period of time there is a sufficient production of immunoglobulins or antibody in his blood. So that is known as a artificial active immunity. So next we will discuss about the passive immunity. In this passive immunity, again we have a natural and artificial. So first, what is passive immunity? Passive immunity is nothing but the ready-made antibody or immunoglobulins the person will get or possesses. Okay, the person will gets ready-made or ready-made immunoglobulins or antibodies are he gets, okay, either naturally or artificially. Okay, so that type of, without any active preparation of antibody is required here. Okay, in the passive immunity there is no active preparation of immunoglobulins or antibody. Whatever the antibody or immunoglobulins that are, it is gifted or given ready-made. Okay, so in this passive immunity, okay, natural passive I will discuss. So natural passive. So what is the best example for natural passive is transmission of immunoglobulins from mother to child. So during the birth of the baby, there is a natural transmission of immunoglobulins. There is, from mother to child, there is a natural transmission of immunoglobulins from mother to child. Okay, so this natural transmission of immunoglobulins or antibody from mother to child, it is the best example for a natural passive immunity. Okay, So there is no active preparation of antibody in the child body. So there is a naturally transmission of immunoglobulins or antibody from mother to the child. So that is a natural passive immunity. Okay, naturally it happens. We need not do any interventions here. Okay, and what is this artificial passive immunity? So let us discuss about artificial passive immunity. Okay, in this artificial passive immunity, okay, so what do we do here? We will the ready-made immunoglobulins or antibodies are transmitted or injected to a person. So how we prepare this ready-made antibody? So first what we do here, we take a vaccine. Okay, any vaccine. Okay, we take a vaccine and that vaccines are administered or inoculated or injected into animal body. Okay, animal body. And what happens here, once we inject the vaccine into the antibody into the animal body, this animal starts producing the immunoglobulins or antibody. Okay, so over a period of time there is sufficient production of antibody into the animal blood. Okay, so after that what we'll do, we'll extract the immunoglobulins from the animal blood. Okay, so how much possible, that much of quantity of immunoglobulins are extracted from the animal body, and that ready-made antibodies are prepared. Okay, ready-made antibodies are prepared. So whenever an immediate immunity is required, so in that time this artificial immunoglobulins are administered. Okay, for example, if a person, okay, if a person gets a dog bite, okay, suppose a person gets a dog bite, and if there is a huge dog bite, means if there is a large area of body is been exposed to the dog bite, in that condition only rabies vaccine is not sufficient. Okay, so there is a requirement of artificial passive immunity. So the ready-made rabies immunoglobulins are available. Okay, so because how the ready-made rabies immunoglobulins are prepared, and rabies vaccine is been injected to the animal. Okay, so that with response to that, the animal prepares a sufficient immunoglobulins or antibody in their blood, and those immunoglobulins or antibodies are extracted from the animal, and ready-made and immunoglobulins are made available. So this now this ready-made immunoglobulins are available, and this immunoglobulins are injected or administered to the person who has got a exposure to the microorganisms in a large area. Okay, so that is known as a artificial passive immunity. Okay, in this artificial passive immunity there is no active immune response, or there is no active immunoglobulin production. Already prepared antibodies or immunoglobulins are administered to the person, that is prepared artificially. Okay, the immunoglobulins which are prepared artificially is administered, and the person get a ready-made immunoglobulins or a immunity, ready-made immunity. So that is known as a artificial, it is known as a artificial what you call a passive immunity. Okay, so this is about an immunity. So if you like this video, please press button like button, and if you like this one, you can share it or subscribe. Okay, share to your friend so that it will help to them. So thank you for watching my video.